You've seen Fallout Ultimate, you've seen all these crazy videos of people playing Fallout New Vegas, and it just looks absolutely insane. And you've probably tried modding it, and that's how you've ended up here, or you're just new to the whole thing, and you'd like to see New Vegas looking pretty flash, almost remastered, as it were, on PC, due to the fact that most people have at least a decent gaming rig these days that they could run it. So what do you need to do that? How do you get it set up? And then if you're like me, you've probably seen like all these load orders that people put up, or underneath their video, like Fallout Ultimate, for example, has all the mods that it uses underneath and where to get them, but it doesn't really explain how they need to be installed. I'm going to try and shed some light. The purpose of this video is really that I spent 3 days thronging the internet for all the right information, reading so much wrong information, getting it wrong, going back, having to uninstall the game. So this aims to get it done in one shot, that you would only have to install. So you need a clean install of Fallout New Vegas to start, and we'll go from there. It needs to be done in this order for many reasons. We need to build a solid base and then start, adding blocks to our game as a whole. We can't just pop in this mod and that mod. It doesn't work like that, and that was what I learned that I was doing wrong for so long. So without further ado, as they say in the YouTube videos, we'll move along. The first thing is, if you're a complete beginner, you might want to know how to install a mod. So you need to download Nexus Mod Manager from nexusmodmanager.com. Just Google Nexus Mod Manager and download the latest version. If there's any updates, make sure you get them. It's as simple as that. When you are using Nexus Mod Manager, what you need to do is to add a mod. If it's manual, then you need to download it from the Nexus Mod Manager site, which we can do here. Okay. So we'll just take any mod, for example. We'll go Fallout New Vegas first of all. We'll go the Joshua Companion. I'm not going to install it, but we will go Files, and then a manual download. We will click this. It will download a zip file. I've already got one here on the desktop, so I'll show you. It would download a zip file here to our downloads. We would then take that and we would put it anywhere you want to store the mods. So I have a folder called Manual Mods. These are some mods that are in it. And then you just find that folder over here. So you click on this big green Add Mod button and you would add a mod. The mod manager will then take over. It will unzip the mod, install it, and once it's on this list here, you just double click it, and once you get the nice green arrow, it means your mod is installed. No problem. Make sure the plugin is ticked off over here on the left hand tab that we have. So plugins and mods, and you're good to go. That means your mod is in, okay? So before you even think about installing a mod, the first thing we need to install is a program called NVSE. So that's a different loader for Fallout New Vegas. So this will now control the booting of our game, and it is required as the very first thing you download. I cannot stress that enough. So NVSE, we're going to get that now. So you will go silverlock, I believe it is .com. So we can just type nvse.silverlock.org. And then download stable version 5.1b4. This will download, it comes out in a zip file. Okay, so if you go to show this in a folder, what you can then do is cut this file. So once it's downloaded, you take this file, you need to first of all unzip it. Okay, so I have that done here on desktop, I believe. Let me just give me a second here. You see I have this already unzipped. So this is what was inside the zip folder. I'm going to take all of this, you're going to cut it. You're going to bring it to your Fallout New Vegas folder. Now, my case, you could have it on Steam. You need to find your Steam apps, find where the game's directory is located. If you've already modded, you're probably familiar to this, so just go in. In my case, it's Bethesda, Fallout New Vegas, and then you just paste it in. As you can see, I've already got NVSE in here, so I'm not going to do it again. When that's done, what does that do? In the Mod Manager, you best to restart Mod Manager at this point, if you haven't already. And what that will do then is it's going to add a different option in the launching corner of our mod manager. So from now on, we will always launch from NVSE. So you'll see it here in the corner. Launch Fallout New Vegas or launch NVSE. Set that to NVSE and leave it there. That is what you want to see in your top left hand corner. So NVSE is in, okay? We've installed a mod. What programs do we need? We've already discussed Nexus Mod Manager. You need this other program called Loot. Okay, and Loot organizes and resolves any conflicts that one mod might have with another. So it doesn't merge them. Okay, that's like a whole other thing. Don't even worry about that. It doesn't merge mods, but what it does is it orders them. It sets up the order, and it also kind of says to itself, okay, this is conflicting with this, and it tries to fix that for you. So you just type in loot into Google, loot Fallout, LOOTFALLOUT, and the first thing comes up is the load order optimization. Download it. I already have it installed. Once it's downloaded, restart the Nexus Mod Manager. Okay. When you do, you will see that on the top right corner here, we can drop down this menu and we can launch loot. We're not going to do it now, but later on in the video, it will be clear why this is here. We also then need JIPLN NVSE plugin. I'm going to go through some, but not all of these mods as I go along, because that would take, wouldn't take all night. But there's no need for some, whereas on others, there are patch files, etc., updates that we need to do after we've installed the base mod. A very important thing to remember in this process is if a mod has updates or patches associated with it, then we need to download the main file first and then install the file over. When we are in Nexus Mod Manager and we're adding something new to an old mod, it will ask us, do we want to copy and paste, like basically cover over the old stuff? The answer will always be yes to all. In this case, in what we are doing today, you'll meet a lot, a message asking you, do you wish to overwrite? In this case today, you will say yes to all. Bear that in mind. I won't get that pop-up message during this video because I won't be installing any mods, because I'm that worried about it crashing again. This is first on our list, okay? Because as you can see, how many mods need this. So I mean, if you go to requirements, as I said, the only thing this mod needs to run is NVSE, whereas look at all these other mods that rely on this. Okay, so that's just to give you an idea of how you can't just be throwing mods at the game, and because you might be missing this, and as a result everything else will crash. A tiny mod like this. Right, getting on with the list. New Vegas anti-crash. There is no let me see here, there is no updates or anything like that. Download New Vegas anti-crash, do it in this order. Windows 10 stutter remover. If you are on Windows 7 or Windows 8, there is another stutter remover. Just search it in the Nexus. It should just be here, probably the first thing to pop up. New Vegas stutter remover. Okay, stutter removing config files for New Vegas, ENB, and NVSR. You can have, you could go for all three of these, but I'm using this one here, which is the Fallout New Vegas enhancer and stutter remover for Windows 10, which I assume a lot of people will be using. This is a very important mod. Make sure you get it. Fallout New Vegas 4GB enhancer. So what this does is Fallout New Vegas relies on 2GB of RAM, whereas this will up it to 4. So if you just type 4GB in here, you'll see it here, Fallout New Vegas updated. That is the one you want. Okay, depreciation version, doesn't matter. It'll do what it needs to do. That's the mod you want. That is the one I have. Mod configuration menu. Mod configuration menu adds another menu to the in-game pause menu, and it allows you to use different things, like when you're changing up your HUD and stuff like that. It is essential, and a lot of other mods rely on it to work, so get that now. UIO, another very important user interface organizer, again works in conjunction with mod configuration menu to do some stuff. Loot menu is just an optional mod, but it changes how some of the stuff is organized in the game, just making for a better overall experience. And as far as I know, some of the other mods that we have on this list going further down rely on it, so that's why it's here. The weapon compatibility mod. Okay, what does it do? Okay, it stops a conflict between other weapon mods. So we're going to, further down our list, we're going to have a bunch of weapon mods that we're going to use. We don't want them to conflict. Okay, so what this does is it puts them all into one space together, and it will make them work. It'll just work. Okay, that's what that's for. This is not a hard mod to download. It's different to the other mods in that it's only being used. Let me just see here. It's only being used to stop conflicts between other mods. That's its main function, and it does it really well. Let me see here. Why can't I find it now? Weapon compat. There we go. So it's there. You see, weapons compatibility project, I should say. You'll see under files on this one, and this is one of those ones that's a bit strange. Okay, you're going to see you can have a default version if you want. There's one that's let me see, AWOP. So what that is, that's a DLC, and I do have that. Okay, so a World of Pain DLC, it adds a bunch of quests to the Wasteland, and we will add that in this video. But it's not necessarily for you. You might not want to use that. You might download different DLCs. But if you were going to use a World of Pain, the DLC, then you need that version. If you aren't, then you can scroll down and you can use the default version. But for this video, you will be using a World of Pain version. Okay, that's the one that you would need in this case. Okay, Project Nevada. Project Nevada adds like balancing options and stuff like that to the game. I'm not going to get into what Project Nevada is. You'll see when you play the game in the mod menu. Project Nevada is essential for some other mods that I'm using, so we're going to use Project Nevada. It also adds sprinting and bullet time to the game, which just add a whole new dimension to it, in my opinion. So get Project Nevada now. Loading screen replacer is completely optional. However, I put it in this load order because that's where I downloaded it when I done it the first time. So that will give us like just different backgrounds on loading screens. You'll see that if I show gameplay already, then you would have saw that. If I'm not showing the gameplay to the end, I haven't decided yet, then you'll see it at the end of this video what that does. One HUD, an important mod. It changes heads-up display and adds some new options. The HUD editor, which works with that. So install one HUD first, the HUD editor after. If you're getting a message that says, "Oh, HUD editor, HUD editor needs to replace files," yes to all. FOV slider, if you want it. Again, this one is optional. I'm not using this. I was using it, but I'm not. And a lot of people do want this function, so I said I better include it. New Vegas and camera enhanced changes the camera. You can look down at your feet. You can see your toes and stuff like that. Cage is continue after game ends. So put that one in here now. So moving on then. Once those are done, we're nearly we're halfway there. So textures. I am using the NMC's texture pack small. If you wish to use NMC's texture pack high or medium for better textures, this changes everything in the world. Roads, stones, rocks, everything you see basically. There are bigger versions of this for more powerful machines. I unfortunately do not have that powerful of a machine. If you are new to modding, go with the small, even if you have a beast of a PC, because there's some copying and pasting involved in this that I don't want to get into, because I want to keep this video as easy as I can for newbies, but then also for people who've been looking for an overall better mod experience. There's something here for them in the line of textures. If you're going to use the medium and big, what you will need to do is download the 3 parts that the file comes in, install them 1, 2, and 3. This will also be the only point where you will say no to the copy and paste. So if you install part 1 and it goes on fine, and then when you're installing part 2, you'll get that message that says, "Do you wish to overwrite this file and that file?" On that one, you will hit no. You will hit just no, simple no to all. The reason being is if you add part 2 and then you say yes to overwrite, it will actually delete part 1. Okay, and the same goes for part 3. When part 3 finishes downloading and it installs and it asks you, say no. And then that way, part 1 goes in, part 2 goes in after, and part 3 goes in. Otherwise, part 2 will copy over and so will part 3, and it's not what you want to happen. So that's what that is. Next mod is Essential Visual Enhancements. Essential Visual Enhancements just adds different damage effects. So different blood spatters, head explosions, the way the gun goes off, like laser rifle, stuff like that changes just changes the way they look. Enhanced blood textures, blood on face on screen, and blurry vision and stuff like that when you're being shot. High quality dust storm effects. Don't need to say anything on that. Natural waters. Again, natural waters is a beautiful a beautiful mod, but a lore breaking mod. I in fact don't use it, but when I did use it, this is where and when I installed it. Okay. that is basically all I use for textures. You could look further into textures if you like, see what suits for you. If you're going to use Ojo Bueno, which is I think how you say that, and you want to also use NMC, so if you're going all out on textures, if you've got the PC to run all that kind of texture memory, then install NMC 1, 2, and 3 first, and then install Ojo Bueno after, directly after. Okay, and yes to all on that one. They can work together. It's one of the only kind of bigger mods that can work together. It just has to be NMC first. It just has to be. So NPCs. Fallout character overhaul completely overhauls every NPC. Okay, so Fallout character overhaul, you'll see here files, and then you can go for the overhaul 3.1, and then download the bug fix. Okay, the race add-on is included in the game. What this would just add some extra, some extra races if that's what you want to do. I think they only affect the player character, so they're not really important. That's it, I believe. I think if we go under description on this, it will say requirements. All we need is the Old World Blues DLC and UIO, which we already have. Okay, and NVSE. So we have all those. They've already been installed, so this would sit on top of them, again strengthening the base that I've been talking about since the start. And that's why it has to be done in this, not done in this exact order every time, right? But for me it works. I'm hoping for you it works, and it just makes more sense to me than looking up these videos and being brain racked about how's he getting it to work when it keeps crashing for me. And that's what I set out to do with this video. I'm trying not to talk too much jargon. I'm trying to keep it as straight as I can and explain why we're doing it in this order as I go along. So let's just keep going. Adam Reborn. Okay, Adam Reborn mods all armor on NPCs in the game, and just vanilla armor sets that you'll pick up in game. Vanilla means base game stuff that's in the game, for anyone who might not be up on that terminology at this point. Distributed necklaces in chains. So this covers up necklines caused by the Fallout character overhaul. So certain characters will have a different body type to the color on their head, and this is just a nice little mod to make everybody wear necklaces to cover it up when you're talking to them up close. That's all that's for. I installed it at this point. You should too. Moving on to the player character. So this is an odd one for some people. We all want our player character to be a big, to look good. Let's just say that we want them to look good. Most of us use a female. Okay, so I'm not including any male player character mods, or even mods for like enemy males in the game. I don't see the appeal of having a wiener on the screen every time that I search someone. I'm also keeping it clean with the female mod for the player character. So the race type that I'm using is wearing underpants. I don't know if you have to do that. I just chose the underpants one. I'll leave it up to you. But we're using mannequin races. I found these to just be the nicest looking as far as quality goes. So let's just have a look. Excuse me. Mannequin races. So you see here, if you go to files, so you can I have type 6, okay, is what I use. I did not opt for the smaller iris in the eye. I didn't think it would be noticeable on my game. And then type 3 never nude is the one I used. Okay, so that will keep the pants on, as it were. Okay, so that's the one I used. Again, do type 6 first, then do type 3 over it. And then I believe, let me just see here, you can have type 6 never nude, I should say. And that's it. Yeah, and then for the non-nude, okay, so if you're not using the nude one, you need this mannequin race vanilla patch. I actually don't have that on this list, so I'm going to add it to it now so it goes in on the video so people know. Actually, no, I won't, because it's not a separate mod. You need to find that here under the extra, because people will search for that and won't be able to find it. It needs to be done under here. Okay. That is what I use for the ladies, for the lady in my game anyway. Okay. Megaton hairs, Vegas edition. It just adds some nice hair to the game for the player character. I haven't seen it on any other characters that I can tell you. So I don't think it applies. I think it just applies to player character, which is why it's under section 5 here. Vanilla hair, no shine. That will take away a shine when we're using an ENB. I haven't gotten into ENBs. I won't until the end of the video. There's going to be a separate video showing you how to install an ENB after all this is done, because it puts that final shine on the game, and there's a lot to choose from, and I don't want to tell anyone that they need to use this ENB for this game, because it's not true. Some ENBs will give conflicts. I know that they will. I am using Dynamo, but we'll get back to that later. New Vegas Type 3 leather armors. Okay, that is just when I find the basic leather armor in the game to look a little too vanilla, even with the Atom update. So that just adds new leather armors, and my character looks better for them. That's really all there is to that. That is completely optional, but if you were installing it, it would go in at this point. Weapons and weapon kind of animations. So all we're really using here is weapon animation overhaul, weapon animation replacer. They're very easy to install. I don't think there's any patches to go with them. Always be checking for patches just in case. Weapon retexture project, which is just retextures the weapons in the game. Now I just want to check something on that, because I think this is where things get a bit strange. Weapon retexture project. Okay, just want to check something here on their files. Yeah, you need to have this. You need to have this hotfix. So you install the weapon retexture program, okay, and then install the hotfix. I already have it. I don't know why it's not marked off, but you need to install that, okay. And you might need this. I don't have this, but you could take this on if you wanted. Probably best to take it on, because this all comes under our weapon compatibility that I talked about earlier. So these will all be going into that. And what will happen at this point is you will probably have 90% of what I have installed in my game. So this is where things get a bit, where you kind of have to sweep up, okay? So you'll notice that I probably have some things in here that I didn't mention, like what is, GRAWRP2, okay? Updated compatibility patch for weapon retexture project. Okay, I'm also using let me see here, a weapon mod expansion, which I don't have mentioned on this list. So weapon mod expansion is another one. Okay, and that's really all of it, to be honest with you. Sweeping up. So if you go to plugins, and I kept like one or two as an example, these are not necessary for me, and you will have these as well if you play the way I'm playing. So you will have this, like where it says in red that this is missing. And the reason being is because I'm not using the Some Guy series mod. Okay, so if I wanted to include, so what this does is follow character overhauls might spill out into other mods. Okay, but you only need to have this if you plan on using the Russell thing. So I'm not using Russell. Okay, it just happens to be an offbeat part of the character overhaul, so we can untick it. Okay, Nevada Skies. This is like a Tale of Two Wastelands version. Okay, which I don't use, so I don't need to have it. But I have the basic and I have the ultimate, so I'm good. Okay, that's our next mod. Nevada Skies will drastically change the skies in the game. It's an essential mod, but don't install it till last. I found I had the best experience. A lot of people get like textures in the sky and like the floor. You'd know it if you saw it. It's like the ground in the sky. If you install this like very last, then it's the best way to go, but it will drastically change the weather and how things look in the game. It's a really great mod. When you're in here, okay, get Nevada Skies, and I would recommend getting Blueberry Nights. It just makes the nights a bit brighter and a bit more blue, so it's not completely blackout dark. If you prefer blackout dark, then I mean, by all means go for it. You can even go for pitch dark nights, but just this mod, Nevada Skies, and one of these. Okay, don't have more than one of these in. You can't have like pitch black nights and dark nights. It doesn't make any sense. Just the main thing and that. And as I say, if you don't have Fallout 3 installed, then you're going to get this message here. Just untick this, make sure you have Ultimate DLC Edition and the Basic Edition installed. Okay, I'll just add that to our list here. Nevada skies. Okay, that is it really. Other than, let me just see here. Yeah, that is it. Okay, and like I say, if you go in here and you see like for instance, I think the weapons mod expansion, you'll see you'll probably get, if you see one of these that's red, if like the way that some guy is and Russell is, and you feel like the game won't boot, or you boot the game and it won't run, then you need to go through this list and just make sure that for each one of these that you have ticked off over here on the side, that for each one of these there is that it is filled in. Okay, if it is not filled in, then untick it, just like tick it off and try run the game and see how it works without it. Okay, and that might solve your problem there, like I have done with Russell and the Tale of Two Wastelands Nevada Skies, because I don't have the other content that they need to run in my game. I think that just about covers everything that I want to cover. Okay, for this half of the video I had to move the camera over to the other side just to show you how loot works, because it can be a bit confusing. So with loot, what we're doing with loot is loot will automatically sort out our order. Okay, you need to have the internet connected to do this, so you need the mod manager on and you need to have loot turned on. You'll see in the top right hand corner, which is why I moved the camera, it will say sort plugins. So we'll click on that. What we'll do is it will sort the load order. Now it made no changes to mine, but it probably will to yours. Okay, and you'll see all your conflicts, or if anything's gone wrong down here. In my case, there's not a lot there. Okay, maybe some plugins that need to be merged, but that's not something I know how to do, and you don't really need to in this case. So when that is done, it is sorted the low order. That is it. We are ready to boot the game. So let's just minimize here for a second. Actually, we can close loot altogether. When you do it, because it's going to sort it out, there may be a chance that it looks like mod manager is froze. It is not frozen. Just give it a few minutes. It's just sorting out the loot order. So loot and mod manager work hand in hand, and you just kind of have to let it do its thing for a minute. Once it's done, you'll notice that there's a change in the list over here, and it's sorted it out. Okay, it's gotten rid of everything. Another thing that you may want to do is change the resolution. Because we are launching from now on from NVSE, then there is no way that to launch the Fallout launcher anymore. So we can't do things like change resolution. In order to do that, if you're probably familiar with this, if you're not, you're going to My Documents, you're going to My Games, you're going to Fallout New Vegas, and then Fallout Prefs. And you can edit this with Notepad. And what you want to do is find Display, first of all, on this list, and keep scrolling down. Eventually, we should see the two resolutions under iSize. You can change your resolution here and save this file. If you attempt to save this and it tries to save it under a different name, then you need to close it. You need to right click, Properties, and then tick off read only. So this will be ticked, you want that off. Okay, I'm not going to do it, but that's what you would do. This will allow you to directly edit and change this at your own free will. Okay, so you can just change your resolution to whatever it needs to be. As I said, it's just there under display. If you scroll down, you will see display here eventually, and then at the very bottom of that list you will see your resolution size. So change it to whatever your monitor is. Maybe it's not supported resolution, so check that out online, see what resolutions are supported. Easy. Okay, when all that's done, we're ready to launch our game. Everything should be fine, everything should be good. So we'll just launch through NVSE, and I'll just show you, because so many of the videos, there is a lot of clickbait stuff out there. The Fallout Ultimate project is an amazing project. I hope that gets done soon so people won't have to do this, but I think that this guide is kind of comprehensive, but then kind of also for dummies, as it were, like myself, who are new to the whole thing and really didn't know what they were getting into when they started thinking that they could just dump on mod after mod. That's the one thing that I really wanted to stress in this video, is that the load order itself is not so particular. It's having all of the mods that other mods rely on in there first. And once that's done, it takes a lot of this thing and it gets rid of a lot of the crashes, an absolute lot of the crashes. This is the loading screen, the different loading screens as you saw. And then NMC's texture pack is mentioned here as well. My TV is probably bleeding over. Let me get rid of that really quick. And so we will continue from my last game. Yes, we do, please. So I've gotten as far as Prim. I don't know if this works all the way to the end of the game, but what I did find before was that I just couldn't get out of Good Springs. So I'm now in Prim. I'm trying to progress with the main quest, and you can see right off the bat just the difference in my game and how the ENB works. I didn't do ENB in this video. I'll do a separate video on the ENB. The ENB I'm using is called Dynamo, and I'm going to show you how it works now. So Dynamo doesn't look like this starting off. Dynamo has a really awful film grain effect, at least I find it awful. Some may prefer it, and a weird depth of field, like a kind of, you know, this like blurriness when you're looking away from stuff. If you do install Dynamo, and I will do a video on maybe either install, if you want to just install a standard ENB, there is one thing to remember, and remember well. You can only have one ENB active at any time. If you have two, your game will load with a grey screen over it, and there'll be no way to see what's going on. The game will boot fine, but you won't be able to see a thing. So you cannot have two ENBs. If you're getting a grey screen, it's probably because there's two ENBs, or there's some file left over from another ENB. This may end up having to reinstall the entire thing and do this whole tutorial again, so try to avoid that. But on Dynamo you have Shift and Enter. Brings up this menu here. The only thing I'm afraid of is it's going to take out my gun, so just bear with me a second here. I think I can pause the game and bring this up just 1 second. Yeah. So you'll see here that like it changes like all these effects that it has. So like the original post-processing, you just see, I'll just mark some of this stuff off, and you'll see that this is what it looks like when you first get it, and it's pretty damn ugly if I am honest. So here we go. So you'll see it's got this like kind of film grain and weird depth of field going. I'm sure this can be adjusted, but it just wasn't for me. Others may like it. I really don't. I don't see the appeal. So there you go. That's the way it looks for me. Let's just, again, the game will run smoothly for me inside here. Maybe the recording of the video, we're going to lose a bit of quality in, you know, uploading to YouTube and that. But you can see that you know, the game runs pretty smooth for me. I'm only running on 8 GB of RAM. I've got an 8-core processor and a GTX NVIDIA 580, which is about 10 years old. So, I mean, for me, this is perfect. Let's just get outside now. And when I get outside, there's definitely going to be a dip in my game because I'm recording in full HD, and then also have the game running with, you know, a shed load of mods on. But you can see my game looks really pretty, and I'm not even using the best of these mods. Like we're using the low res texture pack and stuff like that, but you can really see the difference. And then just to like show my character, she's not, you know, she's not lore breakingly gorgeous or anything. It's, you know, it works pretty well. So that's it really. And it's all added quests and stuff like that. A World of Pain is the only quest mod I have on, and always put your quest mods on very last. Yeah, so you can see just how the game really looks different. My Pip-Boy is different. I didn't include this either. It's Pip-Boy Radius. You can look into all those things after. There's probably a link for it in the description of this video, maybe. But you know, you can look up these yourself, and these can be installed at any point after we've done everything that I've done. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, as always. Or if you're new, please consider dropping a like on the video. If you've always been here, then thank you for always being here. And that's it. Take care. Don't forget to subscribe.